Paul. The only other aspect I would add in is like for our customers, AI is probably going to be a multi-phase journey. So what we typically recommend is in phase one, start with what is the business outcome you're trying to solve. Bring that data in, get some runs on the board, get some business outcomes, which will then help you justify the next phases, which might require you to get terabytes or potentially even zettabytes of data. Thank you.
Anything to add on from Mr. Singh?
So to me, there's two parts to the question, right? So eventually you're going to have zettabytes of data. So A, how do you process it? And B, how do you transfer it? In terms of the processing, that's where the CSP capability build up, right? You have more and more data center build up, you have more and more TPUs required to process that amount of data concurrently and in a fast, reliable way once the data comes into the data center. The way you transfer the data, that will become the critical part, because as you go into the ZB space, it's gonna be harder and harder for one single transit provider or ISP that can handle that amount of data singly, right? So the point is, you're gonna have to prioritize your data. For the data that is mission critical, you want to have a reliant, stable, and fast connection. While for the cheaper and less useful for health check ping data, for curl data, status data, probably you want to use the more economic way of transfer, which is the internet, right? So there's multiple parts, but the idea is that you want to prioritize, segmentize, and strategize based on the characteristics.
Thank you very much, panelists. Hope that answers the question.
Got one more. My favorite product, I have to confess, is Cloud Router or Cloud Router. It's the one where I've experienced a lot with some of the people here in the room today. I just want to say, in a comparison, how great a tool is Cloud Router or Cloud Router for migrating in the cloud, as a migration tool. That's just a simple question. Yeah. And maybe before you start, and then I'm happy to hear.
I can definitely see why product marketing wasn't required in the presentation. Thank you for that wonderful question, Ben. Pragmatically, for all of you in the room, there is some benefits that I'm not being led to provide. The cloud router that we have implemented is, for the network engineers here, it's a multi-protocol BGP, globally distributed VRF. And all those acronyms mean that as opposed to other product offerings that you may see from our competitive connectivity providers, is we do not hairpin traffic to a specific geographic location or to a specific router. Irrespective of where a cloud-to-cloud packet enters our network, it will take the best path across our network. By comparison, our competitors require you to instantiate a VRF, a virtual routing function, on a specific piece of hardware, and all the traffic between the two clouds needs to hairpin through that location. It's not resilient, it's not optimized, and the throughput, of course, is going to be based on the traffic that they can get in and out of that location. So it's a 20-year-old technology that we're built on, but we've built it on that technology because it's exceptionally robust and reliable and provides very high throughput. So I tick all the box there for the marketing guy.
Thank you for that.
So for the Google Cloud, by the way, there is a Google Cloud version of the Cloud Router as well. So I'm going to talk about the Google Cloud now. So to me, the Cloud Router, I've been using the Cloud Router in conjunction with the SIEM solution that Interconnect provided. To me, it's a very reliable multi-cloud solution that allows you to transmit data to multiple destinations and without having a full messy network, right? So you can have a staff topology where Console Connect can be the center, everything come to Console Connect, and Console Connect Cloud Router will let you decide where you want to route instead of having one connection, a full mesh connection where it becomes a nightmare for the IT guys. So to me, it's a very good empowerment for the multi-cloud and for the hybrid cloud.
Thank you very much, panelists. And about any of our friends from on the floor, if you have any questions, please don't be shy, raise your hand. I will come to you with the microphone. Anyone at all?
I have one before maybe someone here has another one. I used to be more on the enterprise market before, and I was really discussing with IT managers, network managers, and I think the impact of AI on the global network of enterprises is getting really strong now, very impactful. Do you think that today enterprise organizations are ready in terms of network to have the ability to transfer this huge amount of data that AI is generating, so from the enterprise to the cloud, and how do you think it's going to impact the network organization?
That's a very long question. So to me, yes, AI is generating a lot of data, and when it comes to AI, there are two parts of data that you talk about. First is the data that you upload to train the data, to train the AI model, and subsequently you have to use data to retrieve the insights. That means the get from the AI model that you already trained to your users to be useful, right? To provide analytics, to provide insights. So both data currently is very huge form. So a lot of the existing customer is using the most cheapest solution that's available to upload the data. Just like Paul mentioned, and Das mentioned that AI is going to be the buzzword, and it's going to be the electricity for the IT in the next generation, right? More and more people is going to see AI traffic is not going to rely on cheap traffic, but instead mission critical traffic, right? Soon, more and more people is going to rely on the answer that AI provides. And if that AI answer is having a long latency, having a packet drop, it's not going to reflect. It's going to reflect badly on the business itself. So what I think the direction is going is that the AI trend is going to continue, and more people is going to use it to upload data and get data. And B, more and more business is going to realize it's a mission critical traffic, and it's going to rely on reliable transmission for the AI specific traffic. That's my idea.
Nothing to add.
All right, thank you very much for the answer. Once again, back to the floor. Any more friends? Do you have a question? Oh, of course.
Hi, I'm Shaimi from Oracle. I think recently we saw news about NVIDIA being sued for data, using authors' data to train their models. And a lot of enterprises are concerned about data security on generative AI. So my question is, how do we put some of this governance around it so that enterprises are protected against such news? Thanks.
Let me start from the Console Connect perspective. And thankfully, we have been operating information security management systems around our enterprise for a long period of time. So when we saw the opportunity to bring privacy and data governance into our information security management framework, we felt confident that we had a strategy to manage and protect the data that you're describing. So I think that the level, from our personal experience, the institutional defense against data loss is corporate awareness. And then the second line of defense, of course, is your network. What can you do to ensure that your data doesn't have to traverse the public internet or get exposed to a public language model to be of value to you? So enterprises building those data warehouses or creating their own data gravity in private clouds inside Oracle and other cloud providers, I think, is the path forward to provide a data-centric protection, but then using the information security management systems, the data privacy systems that we have as a company that we've always used to protect data. Now, just the domain includes the potential for it to be part of an AI strategy as well.
Thanks, Paul. Maybe I'll just answer it from the application perspective. I think it's a very important question. So I'll answer it maybe in two parts. So part one is that's where the power of a enterprise-ready AI platform comes in. And one important aspect of it is, as an enterprise, the value that you bring to the table is not really the model, right? The large language model, you could use Google's model, you could use some other model, right? The power that comes in is your own data, which really gives you the differentiation, right? And by using an enterprise-ready LLM such as Gemini, we do not use your data to train our models. Right? So it's grounded in your data. So that's one important aspect as an enterprise, right? The second aspect I would call upon is, as Google, we do indemnify, we have the broadest level of indemnification for enterprise customers on the results of the LLM, right? So that's two ways by which, by using our AI platform, we are able to drive enterprise adoption and meet enterprise governance needs. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much. Hope that answers the question. Any of our friends over here?
Hi, Jason from Alibaba Cloud. Thank you for the invitation here. So, and also I have a question for Mengxin. You do good job to introduce a Constant Connect product. I know that you mentioned a very good use case regarding the fleet, right? To monitor the fleet router and get the real-time data. But for the traditional enterprise, means for the employee, you still using the typical VPN to connect to their network. So for this new solution, if we compare from the cost-effective point of view or other angle, is it suitable for the end user company, their employee, to bring their own devices to do the daily job, like the bandwidth or cost? How is it good compared with the VPN solution?
Okay, that's a great question. I will direct it to Basil in terms of the price. to me, I mostly test the technical, but from my understanding is that in terms of BYOIP, right, bring your own device, it's always going to be a headache because you have multiple versions of the end devices, and it's going to be a nightmare for the IT to administrate any sort of end device policy. That's why you see the CrowdStrike is getting so popular right now, because it's enforced security policy across multiple versions of the client. So what Console Connect provides valuable here is that it controls it instead of on the endpoint, it controls on the egress point towards the network. Right? It doesn't go to any part of the network because you control it by the 4G SIM. You don't have to configure a split channel, like some part of the traffic go to internet, some part of the traffic go to the VPN. Like you have one control point, that is the 4G SIM card, right? And from there, your IT person can have a more coherent control of the network policies, right? Because regardless, iPhone, Android, Nokia, like someone dig up from 2020, if you're using Nokia, they will be using the same SIM card, going to the same network. And from that network, you control whether some traffic allowed to go to GitHub, whether some traffic allowed or denied from going to certain places. So, but for the pricing, I guess I would need Basil to give you a good discount.
Paul, do you want to mention something about the eSIM as well? And maybe I think you're as well. You can answer this question as good as anyone, but I'm happy to back up. Okay.
Yeah. So the use case that we have designed EdgeSIM for is predominantly IoT, and the price that you pay is it's a usage charge model. And in terms of pricing for a globally accessible roaming SIM, it's competitive. I would not consider it a competitive product offering for an individual enterprise user in a domestic environment. So we're not going to be able to compete against a Singtel, for example, in terms of domestic connectivity for an enterprise user. But for a roaming SIM with global connectivity, very competitive.
Yeah, and still, IoT devices. Thank you.
And I think that there's an eSIM available as well, which is we've got modifications on our product, which I think connects it directly to the cloud. So there's access.
Great, thank you very much, Jason, and thank you very much, panelists, for the answer, and also thank you to Basil for the follow-up. Right.